Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely wild. We are unmasking the real, unfiltered economics behind India's most luxurious credit cards. You know the ones. We've all seen the flashy ads, the promises of VIP airport lounges, the dream of booking luxury vacations for practically nothing. But what is the actual math powering this whole industry? Today, we're going to dig deep into the fine print. We're talking everything from the glamorous lifestyle perks to the super gritty reality of the terms and conditions. We want to see how these premium cards actually work behind the scenes and, honestly, more importantly, how the banks are making their money. Let's get right into it.
Just think about this number for a second. 50,000 rupees. Plus taxes, that is the staggering upfront joining and annual fee for the Axis Bank Reserve credit card. I mean, let that sink in. We are definitely not talking about a basic lifetime free card here. You literally have to hand over Rs 50,000 every single year just for the sheer privilege of keeping this heavy piece of metal in your wallet. It instantly begs a massive question. Who on earth is paying this, and why would they do it?
To figure out why anyone would drop 50 grand on a fee, we need to look at Section 1, the Premium Card Allure. Let's see what kind of incredible lifestyle perks actually justify this cost.
Okay, so the Axis Reserve card is aggressively targeting the high-net-worth luxury traveler. It boasts what is arguably the absolute best lounge access in the entire Indian market. We're talking unlimited international and domestic lounge visits. And not just for you, you also get 12 free guest visits a year, which, if you travel with family, is a total game changer. They also throw in 50 free golf rounds annually, elite memberships to Club Marriott, ITC Culinaire, and Accor plus a rock-bottom 1.5% Forex markup. Add in a base reward rate of about 7.5% on domestic spends, and suddenly, if you're a frequent traveler maximizing every perk, that 50,000 rupee fee actually starts to look like a solid investment.
But what if you aren't golfing every weekend or flying first class to Dubai? Let's move over to Section 2, Lifestyle versus Savings. We're going to compare card tiers using a real-world debate to see if the math checks out for normal spenders.
We found this incredibly fascinating debate on a Reddit finance forum that perfectly illustrates this dilemma. Users were going head-to-head comparing the super premium HDFC Diners Club Black Metal Card, or the DCB, against the mid-tier HDFC Regalia Gold. So the DCB comes with a much higher 10,000 rupee fee and demands a massive 8 lakh annual spend just to waive that fee. The Regalia Gold, on the other hand, is just $2,500 with a much more manageable 4 lakh waiver target. But here is the kicker. Look at the reward redemption. The DCB offers a vastly superior 1-to-1 ratio for flights and hotels on their portal. The Regalia Gold, just half of that.
And that debate brought up this really profound insight from one of the users. They perfectly summed it up by saying, DCB is a lifestyle improvement card, while Regalia Gold is a savings on lifestyle card. That hit the nail on the head. The absolute crucial takeaway here is that premium cards aren't actually designed to help you save money on your current everyday life. They are specifically designed to upgrade your life, but only assuming you are willing to spend the extra cash required to match that upgraded lifestyle.
Which leads us straight into what another user brilliantly called the Maldives trap. They told us an amazing story about a person who saved up and used their premium card points to book a luxury Marriott property in the Maldives. Sounds like the ultimate free vacation, right? Well, actually, scratch that. Because they were staying at an ultra-expensive resort, they still ended up spending 4.5 lakh rupees out of pocket just on things like overpriced breakfasts, dinners, and island activities. If they hadn't been blindly chasing that point redemption, they could have booked a perfectly nice, normal resort for maybe 2 lakhs total. The whole reward structure deliberately compels us to upgrade our choices, which ultimately makes us spend way more cash.
So, if all these premium users are getting these lavish perks and incredible upgrades, who is actually funding the party? Let's pivot away from the shiny rewards and look at Section 3, the hidden fee reality, where we read the MITC.
We went ahead and translated the incredibly dense legal jargon of the Axis Bank MITC. That's the most important terms and conditions document, and the hidden fees we found are seriously revealing. For example, did you know that if you pay your rent using your credit card, you get slapped with a 1% transaction fee, capped at Rs 1,500? Or, let's say you buy something online from an international merchant, but you choose to pay in Indian rupees to keep things simple. Bam! You get hit with a 1% dynamic currency conversion markup fee plus taxes. These little 1% cuts systematically eat away at the margins of all those rewards you thought you were earning.
But honestly, those hidden fees are just the appetizer. Let's talk about the main course. Interest.
52.86%. Nope, that's not a typo. That is the maximum annual interest rate for standard Axis Bank credit cards. Even if you're holding that super premium 50,000 rupees reserve card we talked about earlier, you're still getting hit with a staggering 42.58% annual interest rate if you carry a balance. Just think about that. Any reward points you earn are literally incinerated the second you fail to pay your bill in full.
And that brings us directly to Section 4, the minimum payment trap and the math behind MAD. Because how do people actually get stuck paying these outrageous interest rates?
It all comes down to the intentionally complex math of the minimum amount due, or MAD. Let's break down how this trap is built. Recently, banks revised their computation logic. Now, your minimum payment is calculated by taking just a tiny 2% of your actual purchases, but then they add on 100% of any interest, fees, and taxes you've incurred. Why is this such a big deal? Because it heavily weights your monthly minimum payment toward paying off the bank's fees and interest, while barely making a dent in the actual principal amount you borrowed. You feel responsible because you're paying your bill, but your actual debt is barely shrinking at all.
And make no mistake, the banks know exactly what this math does. In fact, we found this truly shocking admission buried deep inside the Axis MITC document. It literally states that if you spend a mere Rs 5,000 on your card and you only pay back exactly the minimum amount due every month, it will take you approximately 7 years to pay back that 5,000 rupees. 7 years for a tiny everyday purchase. That, my friends, is the gritty reality funding those glamorous airport lounges.
So how do you navigate this crazy landscape without getting burned? Let's wrap things up with Section 5, winning the credit game, and establish some smart habits.
If you actually want to benefit from these cards, you have to rigorously categorize yourself as a transactor and absolutely never a revolver. A transactor pays their balance in full every single month, zero exceptions. You've got to actively dodge those hidden 1% rent and conversion fees, and honestly, perhaps most importantly, just like we saw with the Maldives trap, never let the blind pursuit of points trick you into spending more cash than you normally would. The absolute second you revolve a balance and trigger a 40 to 50% interest rate, you've completely lost the game.
Which brings us to our final thought. The next time you're sitting in a plush airport lounge, sipping a complimentary coffee, or teeing off on a free round of golf, it is really worth asking yourself, who is actually paying for your premium rewards? Because when you look at the math, it is crystal clear. It's heavily subsidized by hidden fees, by our own lifestyle inflation, and sadly by the people trapped for 7 years paying off minimum balances. Be smart, always read the fine print, and make absolutely sure your card is working for you and not the other way around. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and we will catch you in the next one.